From Drogba's fire to Ritz's run, we stood tall under every sun. Through Abramovich nights to new days begun, this heart beats for only one. Still blue, even when they don't believe. Still blue, every year we grieve and dream. I carry the hope of the shed and crew, born for this, I'm still blue. Still blue. Still blue. Footsteps on Fulham Road, moonlight on my pride. Wore this badge through highs and lows, never had to hide. Memories in Stamford breeze echo through my chest. Not every win is sweet, but I gave my all, no less. We sang through the rain, we danced through the pain. The pitch still remembers my name. Still blue through the silence and the roar. Still blue even when we don't score. I carry the soul of the shedding crew. You can't shake me, I'm still blue. Still here, still true. Woke up to the chance, paint cracked on my wall, but the pride in my heart never faded at all. Jersey frayed at the seams, but it still feels right. Been through darkest nights, still shining bright. We bled in the game, we rose with no shame. The bridge still whispers my name. Still blue, every tear and every cheer. Still blue, with my voice loud and clear. I carry the pride of the shed and crew. Win or lose, I'm still blue. From Drogba's fire to Ritz's run, we stood tall under every sun. Through Abramovich nights to new days begun, this heart beats for only one. Still blue, even when they don't believe. Still blue, every year we grieve and dream. I carry the hope of the shed and crew, born for this, I'm still blue. Still blue. Still blue. Footsteps on Fulham Road, moonlight on my pride. Wore this badge through highs and lows, never had to hide. Memories in Stamford breeze echo through my chest. Not every win is sweet, but I gave my all, no less. We sang through the rain, we danced through the pain. The pitch still remains. never faded at all. Jersey frayed at the seams, but it still feels right. Been through darkest nights, still shining bright. We bled in the game, we rose with no shame. The bridge still whispers my name. Still blue, every tear and every cheer. Still blue, with my voice loud and clear. I carry the pride of the shed and crew. Win or lose, I'm still blue. From Drogba's fire to Ritz's run, we stood tall under every sun. Through Abramovich nights to new days begun, this heart beats for only one. Still blue, even when they don't believe. Still blue, every year we grieve and dream. I carry the hope of the shed and crew, born for this, I'm still blue. Still blue. Still blue. Footsteps on Fulham Road, moonlight on my pride. Wore this badge through highs and lows, never had to hide. Memories in Stamford breeze echo through my chest. Not every win is sweet, but I gave my all, no less. We sang through the rain, we danced through the pain. The pitch still remembers my name. Still blue through the silence and the roar. Still blue even when we don't score. I carry the soul of the shedding crew. You can't shake me, I'm still blue. Still here, still true. Woke up to the chance, paint cracked on my wall, but the pride in my heart never faded at all. Jersey frayed at the seams, but it still feels right. Been through darkest nights, still shining bright. We bled in the game, we rose with no shame. The bridge still whispers my name. Still blue, every tear and every cheer. Still blue, with my voice loud and clear. I carry the pride of the shed and crew. Win or lose, I'm still blue. From Drogba's fire to Ritz's run, we stood tall under every sun. Through Abramovich.
Yes, good people, big up to all of you. I do hope you all can hear me loud and clear. Yes, we're streaming in our landscape format today because we have a lot to cover. Plus, we have a giveaway to do. The Chelsea kit giveaway promised when we won the Club World Cup, when we became world champion, then we will be that for 4 years. Thank you once again for finding the time to join me for another edition of the Chelsea Transfer Watch show. We haven't done that for actually nearly a year. But that's, by the way, we have a lot lined up to talk about because this is a mashup of Chelsea news and also a match review. Because yeah, we have to talk about our home game against the Crystal Palace. A lot of people are losing their SHIT. You know, they have every reason to see it the way they see it, forgetting that we played against a very good Crystal Palace side, well-drilled, beaten Man City to the FA Cup, and beat Liverpool to win the Community Shield. From 2 goals down, actually. But that's, by the way, we'll talk about Alexsandro Garnacho to Chelsea, Simons to Chelsea, Christopher Nkunku to Bayern, or maybe I think Inter Milan. And then there are other items we have lined up to talk about. But more importantly, once again, I do hope you're doing well. And thank you so much for finding the time to be part of the conversation. And without wasting much of your time, I will start addressing the items we have lined up to wait for people to join. Yeah, of course, we're not going to do the giveaway for a ghost. But this is why we dread streaming in the landscape format, because majority of our subscribers found us through YouTube Shorts. That's why when we do the show in the vertical format, we have tons of people join us. But let's see how it pans out today. And he's showing discipline today. We have the captain of the community in Constantine Dante. Join me on the panel. I think this is going to be an excellent conversation. Dante, big up to you. I do hope you're doing well, and thank you for joining. I had sent you a message asking you if we should go landscape or vertical. We still have 70 people, but only 3 of those on YouTube right now. But that's by the way. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I replied, but I think X is a bit slow at the moment. But anyway, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Staying up for the show, so yeah, nearly fell asleep, but I'm staying up. I got through it, so I'm good.
All right, always nice to have you on the panel. But yeah, let me see. Okay, I was looking for how to turn this on, but I've
big up to everyone in the chat as well.
Yeah, so share Wendy on YouTube. Nobody in the chat, but on X about two people there or 3. You can say share Wendy. Thank you for reposting the stream. You always do, and honestly, believe me, we don't take that for granted. So thank you so much for doing that. That will help us reach a lot more people. And we have Chank Junior Paul says, hello, can you add me to the panel group of YouTube? Okay, fine. Come join us on YouTube here. You have a chance to come onto the panel before you even get added to the group. Yeah, because this is more of audition for those of you who are interested in becoming part of a panelist group. Yeah, and also you get to express yourself. It's more, you can call it a calling show if you want. And Nick Fradley, big up to you too. I do hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining the conversation. I appreciate you always doing so. So Dante, first item, we're not going to waste time. We'll start addressing whatever we have immediately, because chances are as the show progresses, a lot more stuff will emerge, which has always been the case these days. And this is right about the time where updates we get updates from Fabrizio Romano. So the first item reads that's Vince Corton Matlaw. He reads, it is anticipated that Chelsea will accelerate moves for Xavi Simons and Alexsandro Garnacho once both of Nkunku and Nicolas Jackson leave the club. What do you make of that? I've always thought maybe the departure of Nkunku or Nicolas Jackson isn't tied, not anywhere linked with the potential arrival of Xavi Simons. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's linked quite that much. Like I kept saying, we need to sell some players over the age of 21 on that A list, because we have too many. And UEFA doesn't want to like that anymore. So you need to sell to actually buy, because obviously we've bought so many players. So yeah, look, I don't think it's linked. And Nkunku definitely. Well, he's obviously over the age. He's one of the senior players. Jackson is as well. But I don't think it's just those two. I mean, we got Vega, we got Chilwell, Sterling, the couple more Fofana, a few more little ones, but those are some of the bigger ones. And yeah, I think just any of those overage players are needed to be moved to bring anyone over age. Now, Garnacho is not a problem because even though he's 21, he still fits under that rule. So he would be registered, no problem on the B. So that's not a problem registering him. Obviously, Xavi Simons is because he's over that age. So yeah, we definitely need to sell Nkunku or Vega.
It's not
From what I know,
not
from
a
what I remember
financial
looking it up,
issue.
but we need to sell 2 to be able to register 1.
Okay.
So we'll need to sell 2 of those players. I think Matt Law looks like just saying that there. I think he's just saying those 2, but we know we have a lot more than that overage players that we need to sell. So yeah, Disasi as well. That's another one I forgot. So yeah, look, 2 players basically to bring 1 in. We need to do that. Garnacho is not a problem, to be honest. The age bracket is fine. So it's just Simons, or if we want to sign someone else on top of that, another defender, but I doubt that very much at the moment. But that would be still the same. We'll probably still need to sell another 2 then. So we basically still need to sell 4 players. So yeah, it's going to go down quite a lot till the right down to the end of the transfer window, I think.
All right, just to simplify it a bit, the reason we need to move on players before you can say accelerating our pursuit of Xavi Simons isn't for not financial, but to be able to register him if we sign him.
Correct. Yeah, finances, we have no problem with finances. Registration, we would have a problem. Yes, we've got too many. Basically, like I said, under 21 players called the B list. They don't count. You can register as many. Anyone over that age, the more senior players, you can only register a certain number in a squad. So, for UEFA or Champions League as well, obviously, and the Premier League. So, yeah, we've got a bit too many players. It wasn't a problem like the last couple of years because we had so many players under 21. It wasn't a problem. We still do. But obviously the last couple of years, it's caught up a little bit. Some of those players over the age bracket. And so that's pushed us a bit to too many players registered. So we do need, and UEFA's really tightening on that rule. They sent out like letters to some of the clubs that they're tightening on that rule. They don't want to see clubs basically sign too many players and then, be stuck with too many players and not offload enough players. Now, we're very good at offloading. It's not a problem, but we do still have quite a lot to offload. We haven't offloaded as many as we would have liked yet. So that's what's holding it up, basically.
And I think it still happens. I don't see why we're not going to be able to move one of the 2 players, one of Christopher Nkunku and Nicolas Jackson. Jackson, you could argue he's again, but the fact that he trains separately simply means that they've agreed that he will that they've agreed that he's going to leave the club.
Yes.
So Nkunku, we're in active conversation with Bayern. It looks like that's going to happen. Although there are some reports conflicting reports out there suggesting that it could fall through. But I still see us assigning Xavi Simons because he's a player that will bring a much needed balance to our squad, in my opinion. But what do you think happens? Do you see any reason to be concerned that, we might end up not getting the Simmons deal over the line?
Not really, because I think Vega will be sold. Nkunku, I mean, probably
so even
will be
selling
sold.
Vega, you could say helps with the regards to for the space to register him.
Yes, because is he? No, I think he's over 21, I think now. So he's 22 if I'm right. Disasi, obviously, Sterling, Chilwell, any of those players and any other players that's over 21, we still got a couple that I haven't named. I keep forgetting a couple of their name. I know Datra Fofana, for example, he's still on our list, so we need to move him. And there's a couple more of the lower level players that we've kind of forgotten about, but they're still on our list. So yeah, basically we need to move 2 players out to bring in 1 overage player.
Right, it does make sense now, because some people are phrasing it the way you hear them talk about it. You'd sense that they think it's for a financial reason that we have to move on players to make money to be able to get you could say complete our chase or maybe opposite.
I think we've spent like 40 million or something. Or if you if you count in the sales we did, we're like 40 something million in the minus. That's nothing. That's like, yeah, that's, and with the sales we're gonna make, we're gonna be in the plus. So finances are not a problem. PSR finance, like money for us, no, that's no problem. The shirt sponsor is probably going to be announced very soon. That's another big revenue hit. Other commercial stuff they've been working on. Money's not a problem. It's never kind of been. Obviously, there's a limit how much you can spend, but even in this window, buying some players that have come in, we've sold so many that we're basically, I can't remember the exact number, but we're like only around 50 million minus, basically. So once we sell a couple more, we're actually going to be in the plus.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much for that, Bobby. Big up to you, and thank you for finding the time to join us on the panel here. It's a mashup. We'll talk about transfers, then we'll get to discussing our home game, season opener against Crystal Palace at the Breach. But right now, Bobby, your thoughts? I don't know if or should we move on to the next topic. This particular report here, Vince quoting Matlaw, which reads, "It is anticipated that Chelsea will accelerate moves of Xavi Simons." Xavi Simons and Alejandro Garnacho once one of both Nkunku or Nicolas Jackson, and Nicolas Jackson leaves the club. I don't know if you have anything to add to that. Otherwise, let's move on to the next topic. And if you're following the show, at some point during the show, if we have enough people, we'll do a giveaway of Chelsea home kit promised when we won the Club World Cup. But we had to do a landscape stream. We want to mix it up, even though we get a lot more, thousands of views, 10,000, 9,000 views when we do vertical format, but we decided to go landscape today. Bobby, let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah, Coach.
Yeah,
big up, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, crystal clear.
Yeah, I mean, contrary to what a lot of people are saying, I think those 2 transfers that you're talking about would be subject to Nkunku or Jackson. I don't think the club is doing cartwheels to get rid of Jackson in particular. Neither am I. But if the money is right, they will do that. He's training with the squad, not away from the squad, which is an indicator that they're waiting to see what happens between now and the end of the transfer window. And yes, they have to accelerate the Xavi Simons and the Garnacho deal, because there's only it's less than 2 weeks left. So if they don't get a move on, then it's never going to happen. It's quite clear from Saturday's game that we do need certainly Simons. Don't know that much about Garnacho, but certainly Simons, from what you've been saying about him. And they've got to do something about height. I keep screaming this. People think it's not important, but you could see, if you watch that game over again, the crosses put in by Esteval couldn't be met by Cucurella. Why? Because he didn't have enough height. Even there was one cross that he put in, and it was met halfway by Pedro Neto. Why did Neto fluff the header? Because he didn't have enough height to get above the ball. So we've got to look at that. My suggestion actually would be to move Josh into midfield and bring in a centre back, since they don't want to use Renato Vega.
I mean, our assumption that the club and that Chelsea aren't interested in reintegrating Renato Vega, for me, just an assumption.
It is an
Just like,
assumption.
yeah, just like you
We'll find
mentioned the
out
other
soon.
day. Yeah, go ahead.
It is an assumption. We'll find out soon. People are spreading rumors. They're saying, oh, he can't, there's not a pass in him like Cole will. Well, I beg to differ. I think Renato Vigo is very the pass in him. His passes are equally as good as Badiashiel's. Are they as good as Colwill? Well, there's one thing that happens when you're rehearsed in a certain system, you get better at it. That's what happened to Colwill. And it wouldn't take him any length of time at all to improve that. To me, it makes no sense he's not being used. It will save the club money. It will give him and the club everything they need for a season. And I think it shouldn't be a bridge that's too difficult to mend, even though he did go to Juventus and say some stupid things. But let's wait and see what happens. We have no other choice.
We'll see. But here's the thing: if I have to, in my opinion, I think I'd say go up to 90 to 10% leaning towards him not being integrated into the squad again. But that's a small opinion anyway. As I said, we can only speculate. We don't work for the club. We still pay him. So if we really do need him, I think it happens. After all, Chalobah was recalled, but it's important to note that Chalobah's case isn't the same as his. It's different. In this case, you could argue he jumped ship. He when we wanted him, the manager wanted him to stay. He didn't want to stay.
I wouldn't even say he jumped ship. I just think he went rogue, which maybe some people would equate to being the same thing. He went rogue because he wanted something. He wanted to demand playing time that he wasn't getting. They all kind of threw a strop at the time. And Kunku, for all his professionalism in recent times, his game performances showed some sort of sulking attitude. We forget so easily last season, towards, that December period, January period when both Jackson and Gui were off injured and we really, really needed him to step up. He didn't. So, I think we can move on if we are diplomatic enough to sit down and talk to Vega. Tell him, look, this is your opportunity. It makes every single sense for all concerned. And if he truly wants to leave, if he has a great season, his market will be there. Because at the moment, apart from Atletico Madrid, who's really coming for him? Who has really felt he's worth the money that he's getting?
Did we lose Bobby?
Yep, we
Uh,
lost
it,
him.
it, it looks like we lost him. So Dante, why we wait for him to come back? I know you don't think he's going to be reintegrated into the squad, but your thoughts? Do you think that's a possibility? I'd say there's a possibility as long as he's still on the club's books.
Very, very, very slim possibility. I don't
I
think it
mean,
will
at least
happen.
there is.
I give it 5%, but I still don't think it'll happen. So that's a very low percentage, of course. Maresca would want to set an example, precedence. He won't
Can you
want
hear
that.
me?
Okay, he's back. Yeah, we were
Can
waiting for you to come back. You were disconnected. Sorry, Dante.
okay. Sorry, I'm in a I'm actually at a function. So yeah, I mean, you know, all
The
this
function's
talk
very
of
boring, Bobby.
he's
What's going
he's
on?
gone, he can't be integrated. I'm talking of Renato Vega.
Hmm.
Honestly, I think it's wishful thinking on the part of some people. It doesn't make practical sense to have a player on your books that you're paying the wages for, that you actually need, that is capable of doing the job, that you can satisfy his desire to play as a centre back and to be a choice centre back on the team sheet for his World Cup place. I mean, it ticks all the boxes. And I would be a little bit surprised if they don't explore that opportunity. The only thing that I would say that would stop that would be either if he doesn't want to play for Chelsea ever again, or if Maresca has fallen out with him and he doesn't want him in the team. Then I'll say, okay, it's an irreversible situation. But I've not heard that. So let's see what happens. I don't think it's impossible. I really don't. And in fact, I wouldn't even say, I would say that there is as good as a 70% chance that he will be reintegrated into the Chelsea team.
I mean, we'll see. We'll find out in due time. You could be right. We could, Dante and I could be wrong. Chances are the case is vice versa. But Dante, you were saying something before, but Bobby came back online. You said 95%, uh, 5% leaning towards him leaving. I'm sticking to 90. But one thing is something I think we'll all agree: the possibility is still there as long as it's on the club's books. Yeah, they say, yeah, we want you to do this, except if he's bent on leaving. But let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah, well, I know how what Bobby said there that we haven't heard anything, but we did hear something, and that is Maresca. When he was asked, he said, "No, he's training. He's not training with us. No, he's not going to be training with us." Well, that tells me pretty much, no, he's not welcome, and no, he's going to be sold. Whichever one of those you want to take, he would have been training with the group, been there if that was the case. He's not there. Maresca basically said, "No, he's not going to be with us. No, he's going to be training on his own." To me, that's your answer. So that's an answer to me. And like I was saying, I think Maresca would want to prove a point. He wouldn't, if a player did say something, acted that way, wanted out, or whatever the falling out was, he's not going to let him back in. He's just not. Maresca's not that type of coach that would do that. He would want to set an example, precedence, because if he does that, then other players can do the same thing, and he can't question it because, hey, Vega did that, and you put him back in, no problem. So you can't have that in the dressing room. It doesn't work like that. That's never going to be allowed by a coach like Maresca, in my opinion, because just from knowing him, his personality, and what I've seen, how he speaks, how he acts, there's no way he would let him back if they had that falling out. And it looks like they definitely did. Obviously, we know the reasons he wanted to go. Probably Maresca, like you said, wanted him to stay. Who knows? Stuff might have been said, whatever it is. But Maresca very abruptly and said, no, he's not coming back. He's training by himself. Well, to me, that's your answer.
As much as I'd say that that's an excellent point, I'd have to also say necessity can change that. You get my point now.
Yeah, but Maresca also has to see him
Just
as the
as
type
was
of
the case
defender he
as the
wants.
case of Chalobah, right? But go ahead.
Maresca also has to see Vega. It's good. Everyone's saying Vega can do that job, that role, no problem. He's perfect for it. Well, we don't know if Maresca sees it that way. Maresca might not see it that way at all. He might not rate him at all for that position. So there's that possibility as well. So yeah, look, I'm not too worried. It's fine either way. But just reading the signs and how the Maresca is, and how everything else has been handled, I don't see that happening. I don't see him coming back.
All right, let's see. Very soon we'll find out who's right and who's wrong. For me, I think if let's assume Badiashile is on the verge of recovery. If he does that, I think he's capable of fulfilling the Colwell role. He has excellent passing range too. Viega, as much as I think he has good passing range, I don't think he'd be able to fulfill that role effectively. He's just, I think right now I'll stick with, he's just capable of fulfilling the role. Capable enough to fulfill it to the measure the manager would want. It's difficult to say. But here's the second report we have on the screen here for Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea. Vince also quoting 6-stone Y67 and BBC Sports. It reads, insiders, plural, at Manchester United note Chelsea's reluctance to sell Christopher Nkunku to Bayern Munich for less than £15 million. In feel that that should guide the London club's valuation of Garnacho, who they consider to be a better player. This is serious. This is just somebody making up some shit, which they know that, yeah, with sock up to a lot of Chelsea fans, they could say will make an interesting reading. That's how I see it. It just doesn't make any sort of sense. But Nanton, let's hear your thoughts on this report on the screen.
Well, Man United can ask for whatever they want. Doesn't mean they're going to get it. So, especially when there's a player that clearly the manager said himself he doesn't want to be around anymore, and he's out, finished. Well, then what you're really asking for, that price goes down significantly because of stuff like that. So, he needs a way out, and Chelsea will be there, but Chelsea will offer whatever terms we think we want to buy him for. And yeah, if that's met, we'll buy him. If that's not met, I don't think we buy him. Very simple. We're not going to buy him if those terms are not met. And I don't think it's 50. We're not paying 50 million for him. I doubt that very much. Um, from what reports are saying, and some people saying, we're looking to buy him around that 35 million. So yeah, look, I don't think Man United will get that, and I don't think they'll really get that from no one knowing the situation and the conditions and the player that he wants out, and he's basically checked out already.
That's the point. He wants out, and Nkunku isn't out
Correct.
there screaming, "I want to go." And if you don't play me, I'm going to sit on the bench. He's not doing the same thing.
No, he's not doing the same thing.
And
never
that's
has.
A serious factor that defines the valuation. You can say partly defines the valuation of the player.
And especially when his manager said really, very badly in a way, the way he said it, no, he's not welcome here. No, he's out, finished, bye-bye. Don't want to deal with him anymore. So that just makes it even worse. So also for the player, because the players might have a couple of problems. Obviously, the manager, the player, and then that's a Man United problem, and then that drives the price down as well. So look, they're not going to sell him for what they want, unless it's to Saudi. Maybe they might. If someone from Saudi comes, maybe they'll sell him for that.
But he doesn't want to go there. You can't force him to.
But he doesn't want to go there. Yeah. So he's made his preference pretty clear. He wants to go to Chelsea. He wants to stay in London, and that really gives you bargaining power in negotiations. So yeah, look, if it gets done, it'll get done for our terms. I don't think it's happening on Manchester United terms. And if it doesn't happen, well, then it doesn't happen. I don't think we would be that desperate for him to pay the valuation of 50 million plus.
And in all honesty, here's the thing, I get it. He's younger than Nkunku and can in the future become better than Nkunku, but I don't think it's correct to say that who they consider to be a better player.
And they're going by the prices that of players have been sold recently, like Elanga was sold and all these players for that amount. So they're looking at the market price as well. But it doesn't matter when you have this situation. It doesn't matter what market price there is and what you want. I've never seen it happen. They get that. Only recently a bit with the Saudis, that's happened a little bit, but other than that, I've never seen it happen when this happens with a player to get that much, to get what they want. It never happens.
Yeah, it never. But Bobby, I don't know. You want to add anything to these? I don't know, but I don't think it's necessary really. And we'll also be paying attention to the Leeds United if we're still streaming, but that's 2 hours, 1 hour plus away. I think we'll be done by the time the game starts. But Bobby, your thoughts? I don't know if you have anything to say about this. United, according to this particular report, suggesting that Garnacho is a better player than Christopher Nkunku. I don't think he is. Maybe in the future he'd become better because he's still about 6-7 years younger or so.
As a winger, he is. If you're gonna ask as a winger, yes, he is better than Nkunku as a winger.
But it's a striker.
Look at that
definitely better. So they shouldn't be compared. Actually, go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to it. It's not somebody that I've said, that I've really noticed much before. As I've said numerous times, I'm just waiting to see what happens. I'm yet to be convinced too much about what he would bring to the team. For me, I'm looking for more height. I've accepted your explanation of Xavi. But I think going for two short men like that is not good unless you bring somebody of height into the midfield. But we'll wait and see what happens. I don't really have an opinion about Garnacho either way.
All right. Once again, the plan is to do a kit giveaway, but we have to have at least a 30 subscribed channel community members here. If we don't, we'll leave it until we'll stream in a vertical format where we'd have at least 50, 60, 70, 80 people at the same time, because we want you can say our loyal members actually to benefit from that. But that's, by the way, let's see what happens. We're just about 20 minutes plus into the show. Yeah, 40 minutes plus into the show. But let's see what happens. That's, by the way, Garnacho to Chelsea will happen. I don't know why the comparison doesn't make sense. So I thanks to Dante for putting it the way he did. As a winger, yes, but as a striker, Nkunku definitely better, or maybe as a 10 if you want to. And this here, the same two individuals that Vince quoted in the other report, they're the ones here. So he reads the relationship between the two sides, Chelsea and Manchester United, has deteriorated. And on Sunday, a picture of Garnacho close to Old Trafford was defaced. So this sort of thing doesn't also help with the evaluation of the player, Dante.
Exactly,
the fan base don't want him.
And that makes it even worse, correct? So it was probably a Chelsea fan, by the way, that did that, not a United fan. So we never know.
But we didn't play there.
It doesn't matter. They probably drove up there and did it anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't help. This sort of behavior doesn't help. It devalues. You can say, I think their valuation of Garnacho will take a hit. So, Bobby, if you want to come in, I think this is something we've already talked about. I don't know. I probably wouldn't want to add anything to that because, it doesn't differ that much. So this year, Nkunku's potential transfer to Bayern Munich this year, Le Manoir, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but it reads, after having made a loan request for Christopher Nkunku rejected by Chelsea, Bayern Munich will come back with a permanent transfer offer. I think eventually he joins Bayern. And here's one thing I like about his case is that even he wants a permanent solution. And that shows you he still wants to play. It's not about the money for him. I think I'd say go to the extent of saying he might be willing to take a slight, you can say, a pay cut to leave the club, to go where he'd be playing week in, week out. And at Bayern, I think he'd be playing a lot now, given the absence of what's his name, Musiala, plus the guy that got injured the other day. You could argue they were hoping to integrate the kid who got injured because he wasn't a regular before that game. But I think he will eventually happen. Even if it's not Bayern, I think he wants to leave because probably he wants a chance. He wants to get a chance to play for France in the World Cup. Dante, over to you.
Yeah, but I think we've.
Bob, go ahead, Bob. You can start. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we've accepted the fact that he wants to leave.
Mm-hmm.
What I do have my doubts is that he'll take a pay cut. It doesn't seem to make any sense, considering the amount of money in wages Bayern pay their players. Why should he be the one to take that sort of pay cut? I think his representatives will negotiate better than that. It's just an issue of whether Bayern can afford a permanent deal or a loan. These clubs, they all look at their budget and they all try and manipulate money to fit within the budget to keep themselves in the black. Will he go to Bayern? Time will tell. I was reading somewhere that the deal had fallen through, but it seems that was wide off the mark.
Yeah, they're still talking because Bayern need him, and they're well aware. Definitely should be. They're well aware of his record in the Bundesliga. Did he win the 2 seasons on 2 occasions or 1 occasion? He won the Golden Boot. Even even though he was the second one, the one I remember, I don't know if he had one before that, but I remember his last season in the Bundesliga, he was out for a while, came back and still was able to win the Golden Boot. So I think they are aware of that, and probably one of the main reasons why they are serious about signing him. And it's a good thing to hear that they've come back. They will come back to the table with a permanent offer, which is good, which would be good for us. I want him gone as soon as possible, especially him. I wouldn't mind Nicolas Jackson staying, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Dante, your thoughts on the Nkunku update?
Yeah, the loan. Obviously, they would have wanted a loan. It makes sense for them because obviously they got their players. They got Musiala and the young kid. They will be coming back, obviously. Not for a while, but they still will be back. So they probably wanted a loan to cover that at least for the year, and then send him back to Chelsea. But we're not accepting a loan. We've made that pretty clear, and obviously Nkunku would want to move as well. That wouldn't want to go out on loan. So, yeah, look. Hopefully it gets done. I saw another report. There's a couple of other teams interested in as well at the moment. So the Saudis are actually looking at him, and Inter Milan are putting an offer in for him as well, apparently. But we know Inter Milan and Italian teams, it'll probably be for 5 million. So there's no point worrying about the Italian teams. But yeah, look, Bayern's a perfect move for him. He knows the league well. He's performed very well there. Bayern's a massive club, and he'll be starting for them. So, yeah, it's a perfect move for him as well. I'm sure he would definitely want to, make that move. So, hopefully that helps a little bit as well. He might try to push the move, but speak to some people as well over there. So, hopefully that helps as well. So, yeah, look, hopefully it gets done. Either way, doesn't matter. We need to just move him on to another club, and for his good, for his sake and for our sake, basically. So, yeah, hopefully something gets done ASAP.
I hope so, for his sake and for our sake, but I think he wants to leave. A lot of people were suggesting that the club give him one more season. I think it's down to his profile. I don't think he'd do well under Maresca. As Maresca's number 9, you need to know how to press and press a lot, and that's not part of his game. But he's a consummate professional. You could argue, which was the reason why Maresca took him to the Club World Cup, and I'm glad he was part of that. So he's won 2 trophies at Chelsea, basically. He has, yeah.
And at least if he was assisting or doing, assist as well, but he, basically doesn't assist either. He's not really a playmaker either. So, yeah, it doesn't really fit our system and the way we play. And like you said, the speed and the intensity of the Premier League does not suit him at all.
And he cannot. Pressing isn't his thing. That would have, you could say, made a whole lot of difference, but it's not his thing.
It helps. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Next item here. Napoli are close to Jackson's camp, with talks expected to take place, although finances could be an issue. Finances will definitely be an issue, because I think we'll have a record of how they behave. They've behaved every time we've gone for we've tried to sign one of their players, from Koulibaly to how you can say they are dealing with them. For the case of Romelu Lukaku, what's his name, the Nigerian international, in Victor Osimhen. I don't know if I've ever seen any club that you'd look at and say they have a good relationship with Napoli, as long as their president De Laurentiis is concerned.
Looks like Galatasaray.
I'm just gonna say, I would say off the bat, finances would definitely be an issue, because 2 things. I think they'd try to get him on loan with an option for a purchase. They're not going to even actually agree with an obligation. I don't think they do such, and exactly. I don't see us agreeing. But good luck to them. Finances would definitely be an issue. Not even could. But let's hear you.
Look, they've got money because they've sold some players. They've got a bit of money. That's not a problem, but spending that money is a problem. So, like you said, they'll want to loan. Lukaku's out. So Lukaku is gone for at least 3 to 4 months. So he's been injured. So that's why they're looking at a striker now. I don't know why they're looking at Jackson, to be honest, because Jackson cannot play the Lukaku role at all. He's not that type of striker. And Conte's system is all based around that type of striker. That's how he likes to play, especially in the Italian league. He needs a physical striker up front that can hold the ball and players running off him, basically. So, and tap-ins, which we know even Jackson struggles sometimes with tap-ins as well. So, look,
That's
I don't
ridiculous,
know
really.
why they want him, but I guess he's one of the strikers available on the market, unless he changes his style of play a little bit till Lukaku comes back, maybe. But I doubt it very much. The money will be too much for them, even though, like I said, they have the money. But will they spend that money on Jackson? I don't think they would spend that much money on Jackson. We will not be asking anything less than 60 million pounds for Jackson. So I don't think they'll, 70, 75 million euros. I don't think they'll put that up for Jackson, even though they have the money. Not while Lukaku's still there. Yeah, I don't see it. Not that type of striker. Conte would rather get a striker that's physical, can, like I said, play exactly how they won
He
the
likes them
championship.
bulky.
Hold the ball up, do your thing, let players run off you, be strong, physical then when you can in the box. And that's what he wants. And that's how he's played. That's how he won the championship. Is he going to change that around now with Jackson? I don't think so. I don't think he would.
I don't think he's tactically flexible, actually.
Yeah, look, a little bit, but not really. It's not his style. He needs a striker. Diego Costa, Lukaku, he needs a proper striker that's physical, that holds the ball up. Otherwise, his system doesn't work. He struggles. Any times he's tried a little bit different, he's always struggled.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Before I go to Bobby, we have Kimso here. We had to draw against Crystal Palace. I knew it was going to be a very good, tough game. We had the opportunity to win the game. We didn't. We'll get to that particular game in a bit. But big up to you, Kimso. Thank you for joining the conversation. I do hope you're doing well. Pay up, stop these loans. Yeah, we're not going to do that with them anymore. I think we've heard it. I've heard that several times. So us not being open to loaning player to any club, not just the Italian clubs. A good sign for me, honestly. Do we need a CB? It's up to the manager. Apparently, we do need one, and I think we'll probably sign one. Here's why. Here's why I'm saying we'll probably sign one. Even before Colwell got injured, we heard that we will sign one CB and a winger, and possibly a striker. Even before the transfer window opened. So I think we're still, but you could argue the reason we're getting those briefs suggesting that we're not in desperate need of a CB. You can argue just because we want to dial down the manager's public comments that the CB is the top priority for us, which in turn will definitely lead to the potential to clubs that we will deal with. We'll go. You could say that has the CBs we want to sign. They hike the prices, knowing that we're desperate. So maybe the briefs we're getting are designed to dial that down a bit, so as for us not to come across as desperate. But now, Bobby, let's hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we have to remember that this is, we're still in a little bit of silly season, and lots of things will be put out there as rumors. I think you're right. I don't think Jackson is the profile of striker that Napoli will be looking at, more especially if someone like Hoyland is available and probably even available on loan. So I don't see anything in that story, to be honest.
Coach is eating, so keep talking, Bobby.
No, here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. My wife brought me prepared soup, and as I was trying to lay down at the table, half of it poured on my pant, and it's hot.
Well, if it's not coffee, it's food, Coach. We know already.
So there are other clubs. Apologies, guys. Interested in signing Nicolas Jackson. That includes Napoli, Aston Villa, Newcastle, AC Milan, and Juventus are all interested in Nicolas Jackson, according to Matt Law. I think he probably ends up at no, probably Aston Villa or Newcastle United. the Italian clubs, I swear they're not gonna pay up. But Dante, let's hear you.
No, coach, keep eating. That's fine. We'll keep talking. You wanted Bobby for once to talk a lot, and he kept it really short. Yeah, look, the Italian clubs are not gonna pay up. There's no chance they're paying that much money for Nicolas Jackson. They'll want him on loan, an obligation with a option to buy, but they will never take it up. So there's no point even dealing with them, to be honest. Aston Villa, yes.
If they want a loan, Hoyland is there for them to take on loan, and he fits their profile.
Yes and no. Yeah, he's not very good, Hoyland. He's very struggling quite a lot. So yeah, and he likes to run on the outside. He always goes to the left, to the right. He's not in the middle type of guy. So yeah, I don't think he'll suit either, to be honest, too much. But yeah, at least he's a cheap option that not a cheap option, but they'll be able to get him on loan, basically. Yeah, exactly, because Man United is not selling him on the wages he is. But Nicolas Jackson, yeah, look, Villa, Newcastle. I think Newcastle will probably end up going for him. They sell Isaac, which is apparently Liverpool made a new bid, so upping the price a bit. So if that's true, I think it'll eventually get done, and then they'll have plenty of money to spend, and I think paying that 70 million or whatever it is, it won't be a problem for them paying for Jackson, because he does fit their system. He can do what Isak does very well, the way they play. So he would really fit their system really well. And with the money, they can basically buy him and another one if they really need to. But yeah, look, Newcastle probably would be the ones. They'll have no striker, basically. And the type of striker they like to play with is a Jackson type of striker. So yeah, Aston Villa, maybe Aston Villa as well for depth, but that's only if Ollie Watkins leaves. If Ollie Watkins doesn't leave, Jackson's not going. I don't think Jackson's going there to play second fiddle. You wouldn't go there. Yeah, there's no point in him going there. I think if he leaves, he'll want guarantees as well that he's going to go somewhere where he actually, plays. And anyone that's going to pay that money for him, you're not going to pay, 60, 70 million for a player that is going to be second fiddle. So yeah, no, he's going to go somewhere where he starts. And the only place I can see that is Newcastle, if they sell Isaac, of course. And I think they will, because that relationship is ruined. So they will definitely move him on or not play him, whatever happens. But they'll definitely need a striker in that mold. So Newcastle for me, yeah.
Yeah, I think Newcastle actually signing Nicolas Jackson isn't going to be easy, because we'll be asking for nearly all the money they'll get from Isaac, because we already know.
We won't be that. We won't be that bad, coach. We won't be that greedy. We'll just ask for 80, maybe. We don't need 120.
Yeah, I think he'd be a perfect signing for Eddie Howe. Honestly.
Well, they lost their other striker as well, so basically they've got one young kid. The backup striker, one of the backup strikers. What's his name?
The injury-prone guy.
Yeah, the injury-prone guy. Yes, he's left. So
yeah, I can't quite remember his name.
Callum Wilson.
Wilson, yeah.
Callum Wilson left as well. So they're just down to a young guy that they bought last year. So they need a striker. Either way, they'll need a striker. Probably two strikers, to be honest.
Yeah. Bobby, you have anything to add to this one, or should we move on? All right, give me 1 second here. I hope Facebook then hit me with a copyright. I use an audio that I usually use.
I don't think Bobby's there. No, he's not.
With this app. Okay, I don't see anything. All right, let's see. It looks like Bobby probably, chances are he dozed off. So let's move on to the next item we have lined up.
He's at a function, coach. Remember, he said he's at a function somewhere.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. So understandably so. So this Josh Acheampong was voted man of the match by Chelsea fans for the game against Crystal Palace. I think the kid was brilliant on the day. He did a lot better than I expected him to do. I get it, but for him to have won some of the duels against Mateta, that shocked a lot of people. It shocked me too. I get it. He's got the height, but he was able to deal with him, Mateta's present to a considerable extent. I give him credit. I don't think this kid is going anywhere. Even if he didn't, maybe you could say fulfill the role as exactly as Colwell would. He was excellent on the day, in my opinion. Honestly, I think he deserved the man of the match. And something happened when he orchestrated a slide tackle and he timed it perfectly. I didn't know he was that quick. I don't know if you remember the case I was remembering.
Yeah, I told
And
you, coach, that he is very quick. I told you.
my goodness, I didn't know Josh Acheampong was that quick. And I've always known he can be calm on the ball. He's an intelligent player. He's fearless, even when you have two people on him, as young as he is. He hardly ever makes mistakes. I think yesterday, I think that you could say the final signature on the paper that he's staying. And I think he's going to be a huge part of our squad in the season. But let's hear you, Dante.
Yeah, look, probably definitely. I don't know if man of the match, probably, but there was no one else, to be honest. Only probably Pedro Neto, I think, had a good game. There was absolutely no one else that had a good game for us. So yeah, it was him and Neto for me that standouts that at least showed something. But other than that, everybody had a very bad day at the office. Even the substitutes that came on and everyone, just didn't do very well. The link up wasn't good. One thing I did notice, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I was pretty disappointed with the Stamford Bridge pitch. I've probably never seen it that bad for a long time. It was very dry. It was very hard. The ball was bouncing everywhere and bobbling everywhere, and I think that really didn't help matters. So it was interesting to see that. Normally they have that pitch ready really nicely the last few years, basically. So yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but the pitch, I wasn't very impressed with the pitch. Look, Josh has got a bright future. I think he can fill in, for that role. We saw Chalobah when we were saying in the pre-show that maybe Chalobah should be that guy in the middle and move Josh to the left or the right, to the left, actually, basically more. I don't think Chalobah can do that central role, to be honest. The way he was passing these balls, he was scared to make a pass. The ones he did pass, he was passing into the opposition.
And this kid, you said the kid drives more confidently with the ball than Chalobah does.
Yes, he's much more confident because he's a right back naturally. Yeah, so he always driving with the ball and running with the ball. So that makes a big difference. He's already got that in his game and in his DNA to drive with the ball, and he's comfortable doing that. Chalobah's not comfortable doing that. That's not his role. So that's probably Maresca saw that in training as well, and that's why he's put him in there, that he can do that. Now, he did make a couple of mistakes as well, but at least he was trying. Chalobah, wasn't linking at all up with Pedro Neto Gittins on the left. Gittins was starved dry because there was no balls coming from the left-hand side, from the left centre back at all. So, look, Chalobah is just more of a pure defender. That's about it, basically. So now you can probably see after that game why Maresca went for Acheampong instead of Chalobah. You can see what we just said about, ball progression and passing the ball. So, look, he's got a bright future. I think he'll get plenty of game time. He's definitely going to stay. 100% he's staying. There's no way he's going out. Maresca likes him too much. And also he's going to get a lot of game time now because of our injuries as well. Even if someone does come in, I still think he still gets quite a bit of game time. So, look, very excited for the future. He's a great talent. He's got height, which Bobby will like. He can be quite physical as well. You saw he's not scared.
He's obsessed with height.
Yeah, he's very that's the new thing. It's height is the new fetish at the moment.
No, it's not new. When did you meet Bobby?
Well, physicality was always number one, but now it's height. So, yeah.
But you sound as if you're confident that he stays. I think I'm confident he stays. Even if we sign another CB, I think he stays. And I think he'd be better off staying because if he stays, he gets to train with the first team.
Exactly.
Get well acquainted with the way the manager wants to play, which makes his integration will make his integration into the first team a seamless process. In my opinion, I think he'd be better off staying because he'd been tested in big games, and for me, I get it. You'd still see things that show, yeah, he's inexperienced, but how else would he become experienced? And he doesn't make too many dangerous mistakes, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So he's already been with the team, obviously, a year already, basically. Well, probably half a year. He was into the academy a little bit and then kept coming up. But basically, 6 to 8 months, 6 months, he was with the first team, Conference League, playing quite a bit. So he's already been with the team, and now to another year, that'll do wonders for him and his confidence and getting to know his teammates better and linking up with everyone. So yeah, look, I think he 100% he stays. I don't see him going. There's no chance he's going. We need the depth now more than ever. So he will stay. Even if we sign someone, he still gets a lot of game time because we've got a lot of cup games coming up and stuff. So he'll still get plenty of game time. And yeah, I think he stays and develops and learns even more because Maresca does, he said he loves him. And
he really, I don't need him to say that to realize that he loves the kid. Because
correct, yeah.
Given, you can say, the magnitude of the games that he selected him to play in.
Sorry,
Exactly.
I'm somewhere, so I sort of have to.
It's just gonna
Yeah,
make
Dante
him.
told me, Bobby, whenever you're ready, just
sorry,
let,
Bobby's
whenever
back.
you're back, just let us know.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just let us know whenever you're back. Yeah.
Sorry, I have to jump in and out. There's a lot of training going on around me here.
Okay.
But yeah, Josh, I had to really say something about it. Look,
All right, go ahead,
I
Dante.
think as Chelsea.
Let's let him speak so that because he's in at an event, if you don't mind.
Sorry, I think as Chelsea fans, we should be very proud and hopeful about Josh. I mean, the way he handled Mateta surprised me. Physically, Mateta is a lot stronger, but he handled him intelligently, with his speed and technique. And he will build up on his physicality as he gets older. He's not somebody that you're going to look at and you think this guy is not going to be able to fill out. I think Josh is an excellent player. I think we should keep persisting with him in whatever position. If it's going to be centre back for the time being, I'm not worried to see him there. And as I've said earlier, if we do get a centre back, I would like to see him step into midfield simply because we lack that height that he can give us.
You mean invert into midfield, Bobby, or actually midfield?
I think this kid can actually play in the midfield. Dante, what do you think?
Probably not now. No, I think he would need quite a lot of polishing up on that because just the way he likes to move out a lot, so you will only see him really a CDM more than a probably CM. I don't know if he has that capacity to do all that running. I don't think he does quite yet. So, people at that age, it's pretty hard for a lot of players to do that role because they don't have just the capacity to run up and down, sideways, pass the ball, take tackles. He's a burst player. He likes to make bursts and then, recover, burst. It's a little bit different until they build that tank up, those kilometers, and then, you can actually do that. It's a side of the game people don't really think about, but it's very, very important, especially in the Premier League. I think it's a number, fitness and having the capability to run, 10, 11 Ks every game is very, very hard to do. You have to have that first. Doesn't matter how good you are, you got to have that first. So it's very hard to get to that level. So yeah, usually when you're younger like that, you're building it up slowly. It doesn't happen. It doesn't really happen. And that's where you see a lot of the time more of the mature players in those positions because they can do that quite a lot. Even though they look slower, but they can do it and run left, run right, run. They can, cover the field pretty well. So without getting tired. So I see Josh as he's a burst type of player. You see him, he likes to little bursts, but then you see him breathing pretty heavily. So yeah, I don't think he can play in the midfield right now. He can build that up definitely, and maybe later on he probably can. But yeah, not right now. I don't think so. Not in our midfield now. That's for sure. There's no chance in our midfield now. Maybe in a cup
there's no
game he could
space,
play right
but
back and then invert, like it'd be the one that inverts maybe a little bit. But even that, when we did see him, I saw him struggling. He did that a couple of times, but I saw him really struggle because even there you have to cover the extra ground to get back in position, go back. It's a little bit different. It's a bit of a different position. Like I said, you got to have really good fitness for that position.
I don't think this kid is built for the center area, not fullback, like center back area. But I think he in the center area he behaves more like Tosin.
Yeah, of course.
He
Yeah,
leaves his line
well,
to go
the
get
good
the
thing is
ball.
that at least he got the passing and running with the ball, playing as a right back. But he's getting too tall. He's getting very tall. He won't be a right back.
There's
There's no way,
something
and he's
I
still
think.
growing.
Yeah,
He's still growing.
he doesn't. I think he's built for the central area in the back line, not the right back position. And something else he does that he can, in terms of his passing range, that can over time become more advanced. And you can say purposeful, maybe. I think he has something to his game that Cowell doesn't have. Uh, if he is, but maybe the manager prefers the Cowell's approach. The difference is Cowell, when he sees an opportunity to break a line, sometimes in most cases, he stays where he is and orchestrates the pass. In the
Correct.
case
Yes.
of Josh, sometimes I think he often, almost always tries to, you could say, exploit spaces and get closer.
And then pass the ball,
And
yes.
then
But
pass
that's
the
not the way to
ball.
do it. Yeah.
So those are two, again, distinctive approaches. Maybe the manager prefers, I think, probably Cowell one, because Cowell one, the moment there's space, he exploits it. In the case of Josh, he might, as he tries to drive closer with the ball, the space might be closed up, which
And
is
that's
an
because he
issue.
played at right back growing up.
Exactly. But there's some, you could say, to an extent, there's an advantage to his. If there's no, again, no way, if there's no, you can say, if he cannot break the lines from there, he can drive with the ball, exploit spaces, and then get it closer to the final third. So if you look at the way they each approach the game, there's an advantage to both ways. But I think Maresca probably, most definitely, prefers Levi Cowell's approach. He doesn't drive with the
Oh,
ball
yes,
that
of
much.
course.
But what he
Yeah.
does is the moment he sees the space or you make a run, he finds you with a pass. He exploits the spaces the moment he sees them. Josh often tries to drive the ball with the ball a little bit. You could say down to indecision, but that's his approach, and a manager can actually use that approach to his advantage. I don't know. I think that's my observation.
Yeah, no, same here. And vision as well. It's also vision. You have to have the peripheral vision to see the field really
Maybe
well.
I don't think he has Levi Cowell's vision.
No, he doesn't. Not yet, anyway. No, not yet. And that comes with age. You improve that a lot as you get older because you get more calmer, you get more, composed, and that
Go ahead,
comes
Bobby.
along
Let's
with
hear
that.
you.
That comes along with
Yeah,
experience.
that's right. It comes along with experience. We can't take away from the fact that Josh is 18, 19 years old, and he's developing, and he's come leaps and bounds, considering he's a developing player. It took Levi Cowell a full season and a bit to be the player we know him to be now. And even now, he still hasn't quite arrived at the giddy heights of the promise of his game. Josh will learn. This is why I don't mind seeing him on the field at this young age. He's on the field playing against some pretty tough guys. I mean, Mateta is as big a test as you can get in terms of marking a player. His centre-back play was very good. He's not a player of the vision and the pass, but he's good enough. And as Dante said, that will come. And I have no doubt it will come because he's an intelligent player. We have to play him. Even, I know we digress slightly, but even Andre Santos, that miss Well, I guess it could happen to anybody. But I think it was a good thing that it happened to him because it gave him a feel of the pace and the frenetic nature of the Premier League. The ball will come at you quickly. You've got to think quickly. You've got to act quickly. And he had a taste of that, and he will learn from that. So, unfortunately, our team is a lot of our players are not the finished article at all, and we have to be patient and watch and see how they evolve. I have a lot of hope, really, for Josh. I think if Josh, if they're stupid enough not to get a centre back, Josh will be able to do the job. But the problem is, he's got to be given the time to evolve, and the evolution may be painful because there will be mistakes made along the way.
Well, that's it, Bobby. Maresca wants to win now because, yes, so that is the problem. As fans,
I think
we
we
would
all
give him
do.
the time. I would give him the time,
Yeah, we
but
all do, yeah.
it depends what we want and what we want to achieve.
Yeah, I think we've passed that stage of experimenting too much. I think the team has come to a point where we need results, and unfortunately, we may not be able to have that extra patience for Josh. Sadly.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Bobby. I appreciate you. Dante, anything else you want to add before we move on to the next item? I think very soon we'll go news hunting and then come back to discussing the game. And with that, we'll round off.
No, that's because that's what I was trying to say. It's very important that, Maresca, sees this opportunity. We just won a couple of things. So he sees the opportunity. He wants someone ready in there to go. Yeah. Josh, I'd love to see him. Bobby, a lot of people would love to see him. He's going to make mistakes because even in the game, he made a couple of mistakes. So he's going to make more mistakes, different oppositions, different systems. He's going to make mistakes. You got to learn. He's learning, still learning. So yeah, I understand Maresca though. He wants someone that's ready. He doesn't want to go through that again, especially if we want to win more silverware this season. Yes, I understand both points of view, but it just depends what we want. And we know as a Chelsea fan base, most of our fan base is very reactionary and very emotional. So it doesn't, Josh next game has a bad game, makes an error, leads to a goal, and we lose 1-0 because of Josh. What do you think they'll do to Josh on the Chelsea fan base? Well, yeah, so...
Yeah, they'll cane him, unfortunately. You're right. Having won these trophies, having got to the Champions League, it's imperative upon us to take that next step. And we can't experiment too much. Josh is in the squad to be a squad player as part of his development. And unfortunately, he can't be the main guy yet. He's working towards it. And I agree with Maresca. We have to have a more seasoned centre-back, a more ready commodity. Will we buy? I don't know. We made a move for Bastoni. Inter said no. We know what Italian clubs are like to deal with. Bastoni is quite a major player for them. So if we're to do that, they're going to be looking for silly money. Yeah, they're going to be looking for silly money, and I don't think he'll be worth the money they would want. So I revert back to what I keep saying. I honestly believe that Chelsea's solution is before their very nose. They have to use Renato Vega. Time will tell, but I don't think we have a choice.
We need to sell. If we sell enough players, I think they will go for someone. But we need to sell for that to happen, especially if it's going to be a player that's experienced or over 22. So we still need to sell. It doesn't matter. There's no chance we can buy someone now unless we sell. If we want Simons, Garnacho's fine. But if we want Simons, for example, we still got to sell 2. If we want another centre back, well, we got to sell another 2 to get another centre back in. So we have to sell for that to happen in the first place.
Let me ask you this.
I'll have to log out and log back in. Sorry, just
No
a
problem.
second.
No problem. Dante, I wanted us to talk about this, and I don't think we've had the time to talk about it. On X, you'd see variations of theory. You could say the foreign interpretation of whether you could say that emerged from the debate whether we should sign a new CB or find a solution in house. Some are saying that it's clear the manager wants an ECB and the sporting directors don't want to sign him one. I don't believe that. I think people are just making up nonsense that you could say that are somewhat aligns with what's going on, and it's believable given the fact that he said publicly that a centre back is his top priority, and was getting what this time I believe in briefs that suggested that we're not looking to sign a CB, which I interpret as being the club dialing down the rumors that we want a CB desperately, which could lead to us overpaying. But let's say your thoughts. What do you see a situation where practically, according to the reports, they're spatting publicly? He wants a CB, they don't want to sign one, and it's spilled out in public. But let's hear you.
No, I don't see it like that. And the people that said that, some of our big accounts that don't like the ownership very much and don't like even Maresca very much. So for them, it's very easy to say something like that. So no, I don't pay attention to that. Look, Maresca would have talked to the directors. They're working together. Maresca would know we need to sell players for that to happen in the first place. So, and we do have a player there. We have Tosin. He was just unfortunate. He got injured, obviously, but it's only, he'll probably be there next week. So we do have in-house solutions. So Tosin is still there. Buddy Ashill's coming back in 2 weeks. Is your left-footed centre back that can do that. So we do have a couple of now. Josh sort of emerging. He can fill in a little bit here and there. So we do have in-house solutions. But yes, of course, Wesley Fofana coming back as well. So he should be ready next week as well. So he was on the bench. So we do have in-house solutions. It's just that exact profile. It's probably only Tosin. Were we looking? I think we were looking at the start of the window. Let's not forget we wanted Huijsen very badly at the start, very early in the window. We went after Huijsen. So he's exactly that profile. Exactly. That list I showed you, remember, Dean Huijsen was in that circle right there next to Colwell. So we went for Huijsen, but obviously he chose Real Madrid. That's fair enough. So, but we definitely went for a CB right at the start of the window. So we then did buy another CB after that, and that we went for Sarr. Obviously, he came in from Strasbourg, went with us to the Club World Club, but obviously something happened there, or Maresca maybe thought he's not ready, or maybe the player wanted to go back, or who knows what happened there. But anyway, he's back at Strasbourg, and he had a very good game. I'm not sure if you saw Strasbourg play. They won 1-0, so he was very, very good in that CCB role. So yes, so he went back. So I think that was kind of the guy, but then he didn't really work out for some reason. He went back to Strasbourg. So we kind of put a CB off. But after what's happened now, I think we'll see what happens. But like I said, we need to sell players. If we sell players and we see an opportunity, I think we will go for it. But he has to be the profile that, that suits. And that's why Huijsen was that profile, perfect. And they went for him. We went for him. We bid for him. We went for him. We just couldn't get him, unfortunately. So that tells me that we were, like I said,
was open. We were leading the race to get his signature.
Yeah, well, it was reported clearly. We were talking to him. We put the bid. We were talking, but then he said, no, Real Madrid it is. And we pulled out. Simple as that. You have to do that when a player wants another club. And especially Real Madrid came calling for him. He couldn't turn it down. He's Spanish as well. So that was the defender we really wanted. So then we, like I said, we put it off, but we did get Sarr after that. Straight after that, we announced Sarr straight after that. So same profile as well, very similar. So I think that was the plan, but for some reason it didn't work out with Sarr.
Yeah, unfortunately. Before I get the comment from my bro, Shirinat Govindarajan and Bobby, I want to come to you. Your thoughts on you could say the rumors or theories online that our sporting directors and the manager that they're fighting over whether to sign a CB or not. And I've tried to explain that the best I can. For me, the briefs we're getting from the club suggesting that we're not in a hurry to sign a CB, that we're fine with the number of CB we have and we trust them. It's just to dial down the managers, you could say, ill-timed statements that, yeah, Chelsea signing a centre back is a top priority, which in turn could lead to us overpaying for any centre back we want to sign. But that's, by the way, the point is, what do you make? The question is, what do you make of the narrative that they are fighting over whether to sign one or not? And the manager clearly did say the other day, yeah, we need a centre back, but we're looking in-house. Bobby's gone. Also looks like he has a poor connection because he's not at home.
Yeah, coach. Even those comments were taken out of context a little bit because they only showed the first part. So, yeah, he said we're trying to find a solution. So
in-house, he was specific, and he said we. So there's no way he tell me he isn't part of the process. So yeah, if in fact we're looking for a solution in-house, and I don't think they'd risk annoying him or upsetting him.
No way.
I don't think that. He's earned the right to ask for one if he wants one. Maybe truly we'll do we're in need of one, but he mistakenly spoke of, again, he spoke about it publicly when he shouldn't have, and then we're trying to dial things down to not overpay. Because remember, if you've been paying attention, we were told months ago that we was definitely going to sign a CB. But go ahead, Dante.
Yeah, and again, look, the way he talks, he's honest. He's very honest. He's passionate. So he just says it the way it is. Sometimes doesn't come across, I think, like he wants either, because language, a little bit there, language. But
definitely an issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, a little bit is of an issue, yes. So especially the eccentric Italian, when he comes across, he can come across a little bit definitive, but it's really not definitive. It's just a way of speaking. So in Italian, it's different. When you speak like that, you mean something else. But if you translate that to English, you think you're definitely talking about that, but it's not really the case. So I think there's a little bit of a mix there, a little bit. But, he was just telling the truth, basically. He was just saying, yes, we do need someone and we do need to find a solution. We're looking for that solution in-house. So, yes. And if there is someone available and they find a solution not in-house, they will try and look for it and try to find one. But he didn't say we must sign a player straight away. Now we must sign. It's the end of the world. We need to sign a player. Definitely, I want a player right now. He never said it like that. And a lot of people are taking it that way. That's not how he said it.
That reminds me of that period that you said the fans were running with the narrative that Cole Palmer isn't happy, Maresca is ruining him, that even when he scored, Maresca left the bench, headed towards him and trying to hug him. He didn't know he was going to go hug another player, but it wasn't actually Maresca, and the man in question wasn't actually trying to go hug Cole Palmer, but they're just playing our fan base like a fiddle. But go ahead, what you were saying.
Well, some of our big accounts, that's how they make their living, unfortunately. And yeah, that's what they do. So it is what it is. But look, from day one, Maresca has been on the same page with these directors. They've been working together, and it's very clearly and evident for me to see, and people should see that they've been working together. When Maresca came in, outed Sterling, Chilwell, these players, they all worked together to do that. It was all decisions together, and they backed Maresca doing everything. So especially now after he wins, you think they're not going to work with Maresca and back him? Well, if you want to think that way, you can, but I don't think that's a chance of that happening, to be honest. They're all working together and they all understand. So for me, it's not like that at all. I think that's just taken out of proportion because, like I said, some of our accounts, unfortunately, some of those ones, they don't like Maresca too much or the ownership. So every little dig they can, they do it. And they take it out of context all the time for some reason.
Yeah, certainly that's the case. Bobby, let me get these two comments in the chat. My bro here, Sharina Govindarjan is in the house. He says, big up, Michael Chilla. Big up to you too, my bro. Always nice to see you. I hope you're keeping well. Yes, I am. I hope the same to you. Stop all panic. We're still in business and hunting for trophies. We are much better than we were at the start of last season. I agree. We are world champions in 4 years. Even as we're hearing that FIFA are trying to make it a 2-year in time of competition. They shouldn't try that. They must not do that. But that's, by the way, nice to see you, my brother. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Again, yeah, we're much more of a unit than we were 2 seasons ago, and believe me, we will have an again a very good season. And Lyman Bass says, please, Xavi, Simons, and Garnacho signings are very important to us. Both thrives on a fast transition. Xavi should come so that Palmer can rest. Not even rest. Both can actually start in the same time. But here's the thing: the truth remains that Xavi will reduce the creative burden on Cole Palmer, but which means if Palmer isn't available, Xavi can start and do get the job done alone. Xavi actually, for me, you can say I don't want to start comparing them. I think they differ a little bit. Let me just put that aside before anybody you can say sees my opinion as comparing them and deciding who's better than the other. But that's by the way. Yeah. Bobby, let's hear your thoughts on the media. I think it's be correct to call them the media. Social media Junos, Chelsea big accounts are suggesting usually they phrase it this way, they precede the report with something to the effect of he clearly wants a CB, but they don't want to back him. That's usually the sort of sentence
Yeah,
the
I
two
mean,
two
They're not
paragraph sentence
journalists,
you
coach.
see.
Don't call them
it's
journalists, please.
absolute rubbish. They will always like to make an issue out of a non-issue. He made a statement, just as Dante said. He didn't say, "Oh, they have to get a centre back now." He just
Mm-hmm.
made a statement in terms of what he thinks. Neither did he say, "Would he not look for internal solutions?" He said the club knows what I think. But what he thinks and what he's prepared to do and what he will do are different types of things. People like to make issues. I listened to an account that disappointed me actually when Delap played the friendly and scored 2 goals. Someone was harping on about how João Pedro clapped reluctantly for him. I mean, what a load of nonsense. But we get that at Chelsea, and we take we separate the wheat from the chaff. But one thing I do want to comment on is this creativity of Xavi Simons. I mean, we saw yesterday. Yes, people are right to say it's the first game. Absolutely, it's not the end of the road. It's not a particularly bad result. Yes, but I think we're right to criticize. We shouldn't accept what happened against Palace because we can do better and we have to do better in order to compete and to do ourselves justice this season. Every point counts, and dropping 2 points is not really the way.
To start playing catch up. But the idea of multiple creative players in a team is good, but we need to be a little bit careful. Sometimes you have to play either or, because we saw a situation against Palace where we pushed Enzo forward. Now, if Enzo had been on better form, he would have played better. But he just got in the way of Cole Palmer. He was in such bad form, and so the creativity that Cole Palmer could have had and could have been better at was somewhat stifled by Enzo fumbling around as he did in that game. So having two or three creative players on the field is excellent, but they must work together. They can't, start obstructing each other, start looking to be the guy to make the play and that sort of thing. It's a skill in itself that needs to work. Barcelona, the great tiki-taka side, managed to do it with your Xavis, your Iniestas, and your Messis. They were all there and they all knew how to interchange and make their creativity into a deadly force. So this is why I would have been happier if Xavi Simons had joined us earlier, because joining when the season starts, you lose out on a lot of rehearsal time and being able to rehearse with your Cole Palmers and your Esteval Williams, who is an intelligent kid. He's beginning to work out how to dovetail and play with Cole Palmer. And one thing I've noticed he's trying to learn with Cole Palmer is switching roles. Sometimes he will come into that number 10 type of role and Palmer will go out wide and vice versa. He was mainly out wide when he was told to play out wide. But if you watch him, there are times he will come inside, like with the goal he missed. He had come in and he went for the ball, which I personally think he should have left for Pedro Neto. But hey, look, I'd rather have somebody hunger to want to score and shoot than not to do that at all. So yeah, let's see what happens with this. But I would have been more comfortable if Xavi comes in and he has a little bit more time to rehearse that role with Cole Palmer and Esteval, because if you're not careful, you have a situation where they're both inhibiting each other when they're both on the field at the same time.
Here's something I want to say, and I wanted to ask Dante again. If we have both Cole Palmer and Xavi Simons on the pitch, that is if we eventually get the deal across the line, how that will work. But I'll come back to him in a bit. But it's something I want to explain to you is that Xavi operates mainly on the left hand side, even when he's playing as a 10. He tends to drift out to the left, which means the fluidity of our approach, probably you see him mainly on the left. But I think playing starting at the same time at Cole Palmer, I think here's the thing, let me just not go that far, but my point is he tends to drift out to the left mainly and not to the right in most cases. I think we can actually, but the sooner we have him, the better. But I don't think we struggle a lot.
Yeah,
Even we
I'm
have,
not.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it won't work, but what I'm saying more or less is practice makes perfect. You know, the purpose of rehearsals is to be able to do things without thinking too much about it. And yes, he drifts more to the left, but in order to perfect the craft, he needs to be around to work with the guys around him. You know, no matter how suitable or compatible you are for a team, you have to play with the team in order to get the best out of that compatibility. And that's what I'm saying.
I
I'm
agree.
not saying it won't happen. It will happen, but it's kind of a shame that we've had to wait for him to come and the season starts and that. You know, we're going to find ourselves probably, if the deal is done, waiting till about October, November before we start to see the best out of his inclusion in that team.
Yeah, I do. I totally understand your point, Dante. If we have him and Cole Palmer on the pitch at the same time, uh, how's that going to work? Because that means Enzo Fernandez, who Maresca has used as a second 10, what's going to happen?
No, they can play easily. He'll play the left winger, so he'll play like you said. He drifts out to the left anyway. That's just his role, and he's always done that. So I don't see no problem with it. He starts as left winger. Cucurella, overlapping. He tucks in a little bit, of course, and works, with Cucurella as well. So I don't see it as a
Sorry,
problem.
Dante. Sorry, Dante. Just
Yeah,
one really quick thing I want to add to what you're saying. What
yeah,
you're saying. It's a good thing that he drifts to the left
it is.
because
Yeah.
we all saw, and I saw it live, that Gittins is a kid. He's not quite ready to be that guy. He's going to take time and he's got to be blooded in a little bit slower than we're expecting. So having somebody who is more, I mean, not that Xavi Simons is an old guy himself, but more experienced, shall we
We
say.
have too many young players. If you're 22, it's like you're 40.
Well, exactly.
Well, he's
You
three
know,
years older, so he's got
you're
3 years
talking of
more.
a
Right.
22-year-old as if he's some old experienced guy, and he's a kid himself. But he's certainly more experienced than 18, 19-year-old Jamie Gittins. So, yeah, I think we saw on Sunday that we really do need somebody there and Gittins to come in as a sub sometimes, because giving him that role in the Premier League where your defenders are astute and they're going to mark you and they're going to body you, and I thought was a little bit too much too soon. So it's a good thing that Xavi is that versatile, because he'll take that responsibility that we so desperately need out on the left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
actually,
And
yeah.
he's
Just to touch on something Dante said, I want to do a tapping on him. He's
tap me in,
actually
go on,
capable
tap,
of
tap,
playing
tap.
as a winger too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
but go ahead,
He's a
Dante.
winger. He played as a winger too. So he can do the job. And the difference between him and you saw Gittins, when he gets the ball, he wants to take his man on and go fast and move fast and basically take his man on and run in space. Xavi wouldn't play like that. He would hold the ball up and he scans the field first. He would look for the assist or the pass first. A little bit different type of player, obviously much more skillful, more technical, a little bit different type of player, different mindset from an out and out winger because he plays centrally as well. So it's just a different profile where you can play, especially against low blocks. That would come in very, very handy. Because I knew the more that game goes and the more they got a bit lower and a bit more low blocked Crystal Palace and how well they're organized defensively, he couldn't really do too much. Like I said a bit earlier, the problem is he didn't really have an outlet with Enzo Fernandez having a pretty bad game and Chalobah on the left center back role really not giving him any balls either into space. So every time he got the ball, he just wanted to take his man on, but it's hard to do that when there's no space to do that, and you've got three players around you. Not that good. So I knew he probably will struggle a little bit
And the way,
against
and to
Palace.
be honest, yeah, Dante, if you don't mind, Crystal Palace, nothing they did on that day was by error, was by
No,
design.
of
They
course, yeah, yeah.
knew playing that way would cause us a lot of problems, and we weren't able to adapt. Again, early on in the game, honestly.
Exactly.
But one thing we did that saved us, you could argue, which was one of the main reasons why we didn't lose that game, but we were able to deal with the physical aspect of the game. We didn't.
We
We
did pretty
didn't.
well
You could
physically.
say
Yeah, we didn't do
they
too
didn't
bad.
bully us.
No, they didn't bully us. They
No,
tried, but
they
they
didn't.
couldn't really. They didn't really bully us, to be honest.
But
So
their tactical approach otherwise worked to a T.
he
I have
worked
to
there.
agree. I have to
He's a good
agree that
manager.
did
He set
surprise
him up
me,
properly. Yeah.
because they came to beat us up. And when I say beat us up, they came to use their body, their physicality, and it didn't work.
They didn't.
Uh, that pleased me actually, because
Yeah.
I thought they were going to bully the hell out of us, but they didn't quite do that. The only
Hmm.
place that physically they were superior was with the height situation and balls into the box. It was disappointing that every time um, Gui and the other guy were having their way. There was one time João Pedro got through, but his header went over the bar, and we just didn't have enough players with height to cause them that many problems.
Yeah. Dante, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am Bobby. We're bullying you here today.
Yeah, the height. Yeah, I'm just trying. Yeah, the height is. It's all about the height. I remember when.
We're cutting you up every time you want to speak. We have something to
You,
say, and we
you,
know
you know,
exactly
I'm
what we're
not going to
talking.
give up on that, because
I
you
know.
know I know this Premier League. If you'd watch the other games like I did, watch Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, even the Villa Newcastle game. It's all physicality, physicality, physicality. And if you don't win that fight physically and aerially, you will not have your way. And we're such a good team that if we win the right to play and win the fight, we're going to tear teams apart. And that's my point. You know, we can't be found lacking in the fundamental area of the Premier League, which is physicality.
All right, Dante.
Yep.
Finally, we'll give you space.
We know you love that. I like it too, of course, but yeah,
No, height will make
unfortunately,
a
we're not
difference. Oh,
quite
it's very correct.
we're not built that way, and we're not built for that style of play. Like for Arsenal, where they just want to get 20 corners a game and eventually score from one corner. We're not doing that. Well, that's not our game. So we're built a little bit differently, more technically based, more possession based, a little bit differently. So, but it is good, obviously, if you have at least a couple of 2 or 3 players that are great in the air. Of course, that helps when you do have free kicks and corners. Of course, that helps. Yeah, of course. What were we talking about? What was I talking about before? I've lost my train of thought now.
Was their approach
Oh,
beyond
their approach, yeah.
beyond the
Yeah, look,
physical
he set him
aspect
up.
of their
He set
game.
him up perfectly to
Mhm.
counter us. Basically, I told you with the they've got the 2 wing backs as well, so they fall back pretty much all the time, and they attack with them as well. But there wasn't quite that much attacking. They were very cautious. They decided to open up actually late in the game. They wanted to go for the win, and they decided to open up a little bit because they got a bit confident. They went for the win, and that's when we really took over and really exploited them and nearly had a couple of goals right at the end. So look, they were set up for the result. They always wanted to get a result there, and that's the way they were set up. So Gittins, like I said, I knew he'd probably struggle a little bit because of that, because they're so defensive and they've got the wing backs as well. So he's always going to have 2 men on him. So that's where a player like Xavi Simons would have come in handy, because knows how to navigate those tight areas and the pockets and not just try to take your man on. So little different profile, different type of player. And I think that's what Maresca wants as well, of course. That's why he's really after a player like that, to have someone that can actually do that as well. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. But, yeah, you got to give Palace credit. They were set up well. They played good. They've unbeaten in the last 10 games, I think, and they've played like all the
Against
best
the
teams,
top
basically.
10 to top 6 teams.
Exactly. They played all the
Yeah.
best teams and won a couple of trophies, and they've been very, very good. So, yeah,
And
look.
to be more specific, they beat Man City to the FA Cup, beat Liverpool to win the Community Shield, and they were 2
Correct,
goals
yeah.
down, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
So
They've done very well.
listen, I'm still saying this. I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Had what's his name, Pochettino, the 2 P's,
Would have lost this game, yeah, for sure.
yeah, we would have lost this game. But Maresca also, he's again, he's good tactically. The only thing we didn't do yesterday was put away the chances that came our way. It would have been, you could say, the discussion now would have been, yeah, that was a poor performance, but we're glad we won.
Yeah, and even though we played bad, as in some of our players had bad games, we still kept them to do. They didn't really do anything either. They didn't do much either. So
yeah, we were defensively solid. It's just that we didn't really play our game. And the truth remains, listen, it was not the end of the world. I'm not sure how else to say it, but I'm still going to remind people, had Potter been in charge on the day, what's his name?
Poch especially,
Pochettino,
because we would have been open
Yeah.
if Poch was playing.
Because Glesner, is it Oliver? His first name, but Glesner, he's an excellent tactician.
He is, yeah, very good.
He is, and he knows it, and he's actually cocky. He will tell you, the next time we play you, if you play like you did today, we'll beat you.
Yeah, yes,
That's
he
how
did
good
say
he
that.
is. So, but if people that understand football didn't complain that much. Yeah, I expected it to be a tough game. I didn't expect us to hear the final whistle and with us not be coming out on top. But I think we'll have an excellent season. Maresca has proven that he's tactically excellent. And a few factors to also consider. I thought Enzo Fernandez was fully fit, but it turns out he looked unfit. Even Cole Palmer looked tired. And you could attribute that to the lack of, you could say, full preseason. But no excuses. It was always going to be a tough game, irrespective of how it ended.
Yeah, look, a lot of that had to do with our back line as well. Just how they were coming out and passing the ball. There was not much link-up play.
They disconnected, given the absence of Tosin and Levi Coward. The disconnect
Big
between our
disconnection,
back
yes.
line, our midfield, and the attack, that's huge.
Yeah, so there was quite a bit of disconnection there. There was no link up, and I saw a couple of graphs someone posted up. You could see there was no link up at all. There was no, and I mean, Glasner set up that way to break that up anyway, but there was just no connection there at all. There was nothing happening from defense to midfield. So that was one of the biggest problems of the game. And Enzo was actually trying to run left, right, middle,
But
trying
they
to
weren't
get
finding him.
possession. But he just never got possession because Chalobah,
They weren't finding him.
they were not finding him at all.
Exactly.
So
But here's the thing now.
Yeah.
The average fan on X will tell you, yeah, he was bad. But they don't understand the game to an extent that know that the issue, the biggest problem on the day was the disconnect between the defense and the midfield.
correct. That was the biggest issue, in my opinion, as well. Yes.
No,
It's proof that-
guys. Enzo had a bad game, giving
We
away the
agree,
ball,
but that's Bobby.
being
the
beaten
point
to the
is-
second ball. No, it was bad.
he started off pretty bad, Bobby,
But
but
that's
you got to
another
look
aspect. I'm not
you got to
saying he
look at
had
the
a good
different
game,
aspect. Yeah.
but there's another issue that made it, you can say, come across as worse than it should be. The fact that the disconnect between the defense and the midfield was a huge problem on the day. I'm not saying that he was poor. A lot of our players were poor on the day. You can say 90%
Yeah, well,
of our players
Palmer,
on the day.
actually, Enzo had a much higher rating than Palmer and João Pedro and all
That's
these
the thing,
players.
yeah. Even Palmer also was poor on the day.
Yeah. So
So there are, but when you analyze football, that disconnect between the defense and the midfield could be the difference. Can be the difference between you winning a game and losing a game.
well, it was the
manager's
lowest
approach.
percentage we've ever had under Maresca. It was the lowest percentage of passes out from the back to the midfield, the link up. It was the lowest ever. So that tells you the disconnect was true, and it was really there.
Yeah, but we're not saying he played well. No, he was far from, you can say, having a good game. Esteban Willian is brilliant, very, very good in one-on-one and opening up spaces. He has similar qualities with Xavi Simons. What a transition they have. Are they similar? I don't know, but I think I'd have to take my time to you can say, to analyze the way they each player and see if they're similar. Rich Money Makers, nice to see you. Big up the legend, especially the legend Bobby. I know Palace would be tough game. We've always known that was going to be the case. I know a lot of fans want to buy Siemens, but Christopher Nkunku needs to go according to the reports out there. I think eventually Nkunku will leave because he's eager to leave too, and that's key.
I have to shout out something about Esteban in that game.
Bobby.
In that Palace game, and I hope this is how he continues, he didn't shirk from the physical stuff at all. In fact,
did I not tell you that before, Bobby? I used an example where they hacked him down. He stood up and continued running, and they were hacking him. He escaped, and I think he scored a goal in that game. I think I told you.
Yeah, we were trying to tell you, Bobby, that he is quite physical and he can take a tackle and get through a tackle. He's pretty good at that.
I don't
tackle too. Go ahead, Bobby.
I don't want him to have to take a tackle too much because he's quite a slight guy, but he is not
Very
afraid of it, which is important that he's quite prepared to get rough, because that would protect him as well. Because if the Premier League defenders sense you to be the type that if they touch you, you run away from them and all that, they'll just keep doing it. But if they see that you're a type that will not run away, they will respect you more.
Yeah, I do agree. Tebe, big up to you. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well, and thank you for joining the conversation. I think we'll round up soon so we can go watch the Everton game. We'll try to get a few new items that popped up. This one here, according to my trusted sources, Viega will be sold, and Nicolas Jackson still has a future. Might get CB, but that will mean Tariq George and Disasi going. Trevor Chalobah is 80% a chance of staying. I think he stays. The manager likes him. Except if the manager doesn't like him, then he's gone. Or if he wants to leave. Who is Poch? Your ex.
Exactly, the X. Yes.
Yeah, more likes. People keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. It looks like Nightbot is on missing in action, and all the players had a bad game. Yeah, as a unit, they had a bad game, and again, Crystal Palace did what they had to do. Their manager, Olushola Johnson, your network not flowing very well. Okay. Usually that happens, but the signal says I have an excellent connection. Yep. When it's from my end, I'll let you know. If you're following the show and the network is unstable, let us know. Yeah, we like such feedback, but right now I can assure you, Olushola, it's not from my end. But thank you for joining the conversation. If this is your first time here, welcome. Feel at home, express yourself. All we ask of you is to keep it civil. But credit to Palace. More importantly, credit to Palace and their manager. He's proven that he's an excellent tactician. Honestly, I think what they did worked. Nothing was by accident, all by design, and it works. But we also did something, and we shut them out because they were able to put two past Liverpool. I think they won the FA Cup by a long goal, right? Something like that. So they didn't score against us. That's huge, really. They are well drilled that had we again gone into that game like we usually do in other games, we'll be discussing a loss right now. But credit to them. And I told people about Palace, coach. Yeah, you did talk about them quite a. All right, we're gonna go news hunting, and then we'll round off as soon as possible. I don't think there are too many news items to discuss, and I'm going to explain this. We had planned to do the giveaway today, but no, we don't have plenty of our community members here. So maybe it'd be a good idea to still do it in a vertical format, to still find a way, do the draw, or to find who will win the Chelsea home kit. In vertical format, would have an average of 60, 70 people following the show at the same time. Yeah, and it all makes sense because nearly 80% plus to 90% of our subscribers found us through YouTube Shorts. So we will sort that out. We will find someone to be streaming consistently in landscape or format to cater for everyone that's part of our community. But I don't think it's fair to do the giveaway now while we have just 9 people, and chances are those 9 people aren't subscribed members of the community, if that makes sense. So let's go do something and then we'll call it a day. We will do it tomorrow morning and we'll stream in the vertical format, and then we'll have a lot of the community members available. I will update the tweet with a quote. Cole Palmer on Liam Delap. I just think he's somewhat different to Zhao and different to many other strikers that I play with. That's correct. He's more of a traditional number 9, but he's equipped to operate as a hybrid number 9. And Cole Palmer also, he's probably one of the best finishers I've seen. Yeah, he's an excellent finisher. On the day, Cole Palmer on João Pedro, he is so good. He is so good, man. I love playing with him. Even in training, we just have good chemistry and know where each other is going to be. It was amazing to see him come in. Obviously, we knew he was a good player even before he signed. Cole Palmer, the way that the club is going. Pay attention. For those of you that are saying he regrets joining Chelsea, the way that the club is going, the direction and stuff, everyone is excited and we should be winning trophies. Things you like to hear. FIFA is apparently planning to hold the new Club World Cup every 2 years in the future, and to expand it from XL to XSL. The term used there is delicious. From extra large to extra large. If you don't know what that means, that's a clothing term, which means to expand the number of teams to participate. I think that's a joke in my opinion. I don't know. So this year it says Valencia CF has made an offer for Chelsea's defender Ben Chilwell. I hope he accepts it, but I don't think he'd be in a hurry. That's, by the way, and one more thing. Chelsea are planning to sign Emmanuel Emera on a 5-year deal from Strasbourg next summer. So anybody else has anything else to say before we call it a day?
No, Chilwell should definitely go to Spain. Yeah, definitely. Nice warm weather on the beach, Valencia. He should definitely go there. I don't know what he's waiting for.
But I don't think he'd be in a hurry to accept that.
Yeah, no, but it's a good move for him. I think it's perfect lifestyle and playing football, not bad. He should definitely go there.
Yeah,
Did you?
Bobby, anything else you
Sorry,
want to say before we call it a day?
did you see what? I don't know if you see this, Bobby, as well. Did you see what Oliver Holt wrote? So Oliver Holt is the chief sports writer
Yeah,
at the
I know,
Daily.
Oliver.
Yeah,
I don't like
he's the main
game,
guy
but
at the Daily Mail and Mail Online and the Mail Sunday.
I think attention because it's Chelsea.
Did you see what he wrote, Coach?
Yeah, calling the
I'm just
club
a
World
fan.
Cup some whatever word term he used.
That's pretty disgusting how he wrote that. That's like seriously.
Yeah.
Someone so professional, a grown man, to write something like that. Oh, my goodness. How the hell did he, let him write? I guess he's the chief editor, so he can do it. But yeah, I mean, come on. How can you write something like that? That is crazy for me. I don't know.
Yeah. It is indeed. Bobby, anything else you want to say before we call it a day?
No, Oliver Holt is a known Man United fan. He's always been very anti anything to do with Chelsea. He's one of those that peddles a lot of the negativity. So I don't listen to a single word he says. All right.
All right, thank you so much, Bobby. In total, we have 190 people following the show, but only 8 on YouTube. The rest probably not. Facebook disconnected. The rest on X. If you're following the show on X, kindly take a second, drop a like on the video, and follow our X account to help us get to 6,000 followers as soon as possible. And once again, I'll remind you guys, we'll still do the giveaway, but we have to do it tomorrow. We want to have at least 50 to 60 members of our community. But because we're streaming in a landscape format today, we don't have too many people. But we'll try again tomorrow morning. Thank you for being part of the conversation. Don't give up. Yep, we have a budget for that. You say that if you prefer the cash equivalent, you'd get it. But we'll do that tomorrow morning during the Blue Morning Show. So thank you. God bless you. And thank you for joining. Thank you to Beho for joining. Thank you, Rich Money Makers. Thank you, Olushola. Who else was here? And all of you. If I miss your name, apologies. See you guys next time. God bless us all and cheers.
Cheers, guys. Take